Have you ever felt the sting of a careless word, a judgment, a rejection, and found it echoing in your mind for days, perhaps weeks? Do you find your inner peace shattered by external events, by the moods and opinions of others, as if you were a ship tossed on a tempestuous sea, with no anchor and no rudder? You strive for strength, for a sense of calm imperviousness, yet you feel relentlessly vulnerable. You might build walls, attempt to numb yourself, or project an image of unbreakability. But deep down, the slightest tremor from the outside world can threaten to bring your carefully constructed defenses crumbling down. What if true strength, genuine invulnerability, isn't about building higher walls or a harder shell? What if it's about something far more profound, something cultivated deep within the core of your being? What if the path to becoming truly untouchable lies not in deflecting the world, but in deeply understanding and integrating yourself? The legendary Swiss psychiatrist Carl Jung, a pioneer of depth psychology, offered us a map to this profound inner territory. He understood that our experience of the external world is inextricably linked to the uncharted landscapes of our unconscious. Jung famously stated, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life and you will call it fate." This single powerful idea holds the key. It suggests that our reactivity, our pain, our feeling of being at the mercy of external forces often stems not from the events themselves, but from the unacknowledged, unintegrated parts of our own psyche. The journey to an unshakable self, therefore, is a journey inward. Why are we so susceptible? Why do the actions and words of others hold such power over our inner state? The roots are manifold, often buried deep in our personal history and the collective human experience. Perhaps it's the echo of past wounds, childhood experiences where our worth felt conditional, where love or safety were unpredictable. These early imprints create sensitivities, raw nerves that are easily touched by present-day events. The critical colleague isn't just a colleague. They become the voice of a critical parent. A partner's emotional distance doesn't just feel like space, it feels like abandonment. Then there's the pervasive illusion of external validation. We are subtly and often overtly conditioned by society to seek our value outside of ourselves, in achievements, in approval, in status, in the eyes of others. Our ego, in its quest for significance, latches onto these external markers. When they are threatened or when validation is withheld, our sense of self feels diminished. We become puppets, our strings pulled by the praise or condemnation of the world. This isn't a failing. It's a fundamental aspect of the human condition when left unexamined. We project our own inner state onto the world and then react to those projections as if they were objective reality. The world becomes a mirror, but we often fail to realize we are looking at reflections of our own inner contents. Jung's work provides us with powerful lenses to understand these dynamics and, more importantly, to transcend them. First, the unconscious. Imagine an iceberg. The tip, visible above the water, is your conscious mind, your awareness, your thoughts, your decisions. But beneath the surface lies the vast, immense mass of the unconscious. It holds your repressed memories, your instincts, your forgotten experiences, your deepest fears, and your greatest potentials. When events in the outer world trigger us, it's often because they resonate with these hidden contents, stirring up powerful, unacknowledged emotions and complexes. Next, the shadow. This is one of Jung's most crucial concepts. The shadow represents all the parts of ourselves that we have denied, repressed, or deemed unacceptable. Our anger, our envy, our greed, our vulnerabilities, even our unexpressed talents. Because we don't consciously own these aspects, they don't disappear. Instead, they operate in the dark, often projected onto others. We see in them the very traits we refuse to acknowledge in ourselves, leading to intense dislike or disproportionate reactions. Paradoxically, embracing your shadow, integrating its energy, is a source of immense power and wholeness. As Jung put it, the brighter the light, the darker the shadow. True strength isn't shadowless, it's shadow integrated. Then there is projection. This is the unconscious act of attributing our own unacknowledged qualities, feelings, or motives to another person. When you find yourself intensely irritated by someone's perceived arrogance, for instance, it might be a projection of your own unacknowledged arrogance or perhaps your insecurity about your own worth. Recognizing our projections is a vital step in reclaiming our power, as it brings the focus back from blaming others to understanding ourselves. Consider also the persona versus the self. The persona is the social mask we wear, the version of ourselves we present to the world. It's necessary for navigating social interactions, but problems arise when we identify with the persona, believing it to be our true nature. We become actors who have forgotten they are acting, terrified of being seen without the mask. The self, in Jungian terms, is the totality of our being, the organizing principle of the psyche, striving for wholeness. The journey to invulnerability involves shifting our identification from the fragile persona to the resilient, authentic self. Finally, individuation. This is Jung's term for the lifelong process of becoming an individual, that is, a separate, indivisible unity or whole. It's the journey of self-realization, of differentiating oneself from the collective and integrating the conscious and unconscious aspects of the psyche, including the shadow. It's about becoming who you truly are, authentically and completely. This path isn't about achieving perfection, but about achieving wholeness. And in that wholeness lies an unshakable core. What happens if we choose not to embark on this inner journey? What is the cost of remaining a stranger to our own depths, of continually outsourcing our emotional well-being? The consequences are stark and far-reaching. We remain perpetually at the mercy of external circumstances. A critical comment can derail our day. A perceived slight can trigger days of rumination and anxiety. Our relationships suffer, as unacknowledged projections create misunderstandings, conflict, and distance. We might find ourselves repeating the same painful patterns, attracting similar types of emotionally damaging situations or individuals, because the unconscious script remains unchanged. This isn't freedom. This is a prison whose walls are built of our own unexamined reactions and unhealed wounds. We live a life of quiet desperation, constantly bracing for the next emotional blow, never truly at peace, never truly feeling grounded in our own being. Opportunities for growth are missed, as the fear of pain keeps us small and confined. Our potential remains dormant, overshadowed by the fear of what others might think or say. We risk becoming bitter, cynical, or emotionally numb, cut off from the richness and vitality that comes from authentic living and genuine connection. But it doesn't have to be this way. Jung's insights offer not a magic pill, but a profound transformative path. The point of virata, the turning point, arrives when we realize that the power we seek externally is, and always has been, an internal resource. The solution isn't to become emotionless or to build impenetrable armor. That's a recipe for isolation and a denial of our humanity. Instead, Jung's wisdom guides us to transform our relationship with our emotions and with the events that trigger them. It's about cultivating a consciousness that can observe our reactions without being consumed by them. Imagine yourself standing on the bank of a river, watching your thoughts and emotions flow by like water, rather than being swept away by the current. This is the perspective that inner work can grant. The events of the world will still happen. People will still say and do things. But these external occurrences no longer have the power to define your inner state. You become an alchemist of your own experience, capable of transmuting pain into awareness and vulnerability into strength. How do we walk this path? How do we cultivate this inner alchemy, this unshakable self? It is a practice, a discipline of radical self-honesty and courageous inner exploration. Embrace self-reflection. Make time to turn inward. Journaling can be a powerful tool. Ask yourself, when I feel triggered, what is the deeper feeling beneath the surface, anger or anxiety? What past experiences might this current situation be echoing? What part of my shadow is clamoring for attention? Courageously confront the shadow. This is perhaps the most challenging yet most rewarding part of the journey. It means looking at the parts of yourself you'd rather ignore, your pettiness, your envy, your rage, your fear, not to judge them but to understand their origins and their messages. Techniques like active imagination, as Jung proposed, or even deep, honest conversations with a trusted therapist or mentor can facilitate this. Remember, what you do not own owns you from the shadows. Withdraw your projections. Begin to notice when you have strong, visceral reactions to others. Ask, is it possible that what I see in them is also a part of me? This doesn't excuse others' behavior, but it reclaims your emotional energy and places the power for change back within you. Cultivate inner validation. Shift your focus from seeking approval externally to cultivating self-acceptance. Recognize your inherent worth, independent of achievements or others' opinions. Celebrate your small victories in this inner work. This is about building a compassionate relationship with yourself. Practice mindfulness and observation. Learn to observe your thoughts and emotions without immediate judgment or reaction. This creates a space between stimulus and response, and in that space lies your freedom and your power to choose a different way of being. This isn't about quick fixes. It's about a fundamental shift in how you relate to yourself and the world. It's about understanding that the locus of control you've been seeking externally is actually the locus of awareness internally. Let us be clear. This path of individuation, this journey toward an unshakable self, is not for the faint of heart. It demands courage, persistence, and a willingness to embrace discomfort. You may face resistance, both internal and external. Your ego, comfortable in its familiar patterns, may fight back. Confronting your shadow can be painful, unsettling. You might feel a sense of loneliness at times, as your evolving perspective changes your relationships and how you engage with the world. Society often rewards conformity, the maintenance of the persona, and you may feel misunderstood or even ostracized as you begin to live more authentically. There will be moments of doubt, times when you feel lost in the labyrinth of your own psyche. The temptation to revert to old coping mechanisms, to blame, to numb, to hide, will be strong. This is normal. This is part of the process. True strength isn't the absence of these challenges, but the willingness to meet them, to learn from them, and to keep going. Yet for those who persevere, the rewards are immeasurable. Imagine a sense of inner peace that isn't dependent on external conditions. Imagine a resilience that allows you to meet life's challenges with grace and wisdom, rather than reactivity and fear. Imagine a profound connection to your authentic self, a deep knowing of who you are and what you stand for. This is the promise of the path Jung illuminated. When you integrate your shadow, you reclaim lost parts of your vitality and creativity. When you withdraw your projections, you see the world and others with greater clarity and compassion. When you anchor your worth internally, you become truly free. You are no longer a leaf tossed in the wind. You become the mountain, solid, grounded, present. Storms may rage around you, winds may howl, but your core remains undisturbed. This isn't an arrogant invincibility. It's a quiet, humble strength born from deep self-knowledge and radical self-acceptance. You become the architect of your inner world, capable of creating a sanctuary of peace within yourself, regardless of the chaos without. This is the essence of becoming truly untouchable. Not by avoiding life's blows, but by becoming so deeply rooted in your own being that nothing can uproot you. If these explorations into the architecture of your mind resonate with you, if you feel a stirring to embark on this journey towards an unshakable self, ensure you subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss our future deep dives into the wisdom that transforms. This journey is both personal and universal. What aspect of your shadow, or what external trigger that often throws you off balance, are you now ready to explore with more curiosity and courage after hearing this? Share your commitment or reflection in the comments below. Your journey, your insights, can illuminate the path for others. Your act of sharing is an act of courage. And don't stop here. The architecture of the mind is vast and fascinating. Our next video delves into Nietzsche's guide to overcoming resentment, forging strength from spite. It's an essential piece of the puzzle for anyone serious about transmuting life's difficulties into profound inner power. Click the link on screen or in the description to continue your journey. Remember, the fortress you seek, the peace you crave, is not to be found in the fleeting reassurances of the external world. It is within you. Build it with awareness, tend it with courage, inhabit it with your whole being,